What's up you guys, it's Ben and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything there is relating to selling on Amazon. So, given that I've got quite a few new subscribers who are looking to start selling on Amazon, this video is for you. This video is for all of the people that are not looking to wait until beginning of next year 2022 to start off their Amazon FBA journey. Because the truth is, if you are looking to sell on Amazon, you should start doing it right now. You should not be putting it off. You should not be waiting until 2022 to start off your journey. So this video I'm going to do is speak to you about the most important part of the Amazon FBA business model, and that is product research. I will be showing you exactly how to use by far the best product research tools out there with Helium 10, what kind of criteria should you be putting in, what kind of products you should be looking for, what kind of red flags you should be looking out for. So hopefully by the end of watching this video, you will have a good idea of what to look out, what to potentially look for, and what to potentially to effectively avoid to make sure you don't make any of those newbie mistakes with potential products that may end up actually losing you quite a lot of money, that could have been very easily avoided. So with that being said, guys, if you are interested in selling on Amazon and you do have a little bit of a bigger budget and you want to take this seriously, then don't forget to check the links down below for my own personal mentorship, where I will help you every step of the way and guide you to make sure you don't make any of those newbie mistakes that new sellers tend to make. Otherwise, guys, if you're running on a relatively lower budget but you still want to use some of the business tools that I use, talk about and recommend, then please don't forget to check the links down below for awesome, by far the most reliable e-commerce accountants out there. Helium 10, the best product research tool out there in the market, and with my link you'll get 50% off. Or Pioneer, Amazon's own approved business bank account to start off your Amazon FBA journey. And with that being said, guys, let's get straight to the video. Right, guys, so in this video what I want to do is basically show you the two most important tools on Helium 10, basically the Amazon FBA Blackbox that we're going to be speaking about, and then how to effectively use their Chrome extension, which is called X-Ray, to do a little bit more digging about each and every single niche that we may potentially want to look into. So first things first, let's have a look at Blackbox. This is by far the best Amazon product research tool out there in the market, and I've seen a lot of them, and this is bar none in terms of the quality information, the amount of information, and also the accuracy of the information. And I'm not saying this because I'm only affiliated with Helium 10. So first things first, we have to choose a category. Okay, now all of these categories can be found on Amazon FBA UK. Now what I want you to do is, when it comes to product research, start with choosing one category at a time. Don't just select 10 or 20 of them or so on, because whatever results you basically go for, Amazon FBA Helium 10 can only send you 200 different products. They can't send you thousands and thousands, because that would basically crash the system. And therefore what you want to do is start with one category at a time. And then let's say, for example, you start with garden and outdoors, and if you don't find anything within that niche, then move on to the next one and so on. Okay, so first things first, what we're going to do is just go into beauty items. Okay, next up, we need to choose the minimum monthly revenue to the maximum. What I want to do is basically make sure that these products that are going to be sent to me by Helium 10 have at least £1,000 in minimum revenue each and every single month over the last 30 days effectively. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in £1,000. Now I don't want to set a maximum revenue number, because why basically limit ourselves too much? We want to broaden our search as much as possible. However, that being said, we don't want to see any products that are making £50 a month, £100 or so, and so forth. This is also really important for all of you guys that are working on a relatively lower budget, because making sure you come across products that are actually making money is really important. So for example, if you're on a higher budget, you may potentially change this monthly revenue to, let's say, £5,000 or £10,000, because you can afford those higher niche products effectively. Next up, price. Okay, now this is where your budget really comes into play. If you're running on a relatively low budget, i.e. £1,000, maybe at £2,000, I would definitely keep this price under £15. Okay, if you're running at a £5,000-6,000, I personally would say still go for lower price products. Just get more than one, maybe go for 2 or 3 products. But If you have a higher budget, then you can potentially change this to, let's say, £25 to have more variety, more choice, more opportunity effectively. Like I said before in my earlier videos, the best return on your investment, you want to squeeze as much profit out of each and every single pound as possible. And the way to do that, the best way to do that from my own personal experience, the best margins always come from products from £15 and under. I've said this before and I'll say this again. It's much easier to pay £2 for a product from Alibaba and get £4 back than to pay £20 from Alibaba and get £40 back. Okay, the return on investment is exactly the same, but one is much easier to achieve than the other. Next up, review count. Now this is where I would potentially move to 50 reviews maximum. Okay, now this is very interesting because a lot of people will say, well, if the review count in a potential niche is over 1,000, then it's just way too competitive. And that is not the truth. The truth is, if the review count is over 1,000, then that means that product has been selling for quite some time. By me putting a review count with 50 or under basically means that I'm looking for products in the beauty category which are making over £1,000 already but haven't been selling for that long. They only have 50 reviews or under, and they're relatively well priced with £15 or under as well. Next up, review rating. This I personally would leave blank, or if you do want to put something in there to niche your results a little bit more, I would choose 4 or below. Okay, the reason why is because if it has a 4 rating or below, then that means it can potentially be improved upon. Something can potentially be done to make this product a little bit better, a little bit different. And that is one of the keys in making and finding a successful product on Amazon FBA to sell. And then last but not least, shipping size tier. Now, again, you can choose this whichever way you want, but I personally would leave it blank. However, I would gear my search towards smaller items, because if you're going to go for big, bulky items, then the storage costs are going to be very high. And what happens if you don't sell any of those items? Those storage costs will continue to accumulate each and every single month. So like I always say to my students, the bigger the product, usually the bigger the risk, given what happens if you don't sell those products. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to click on search and wait for Helium 10 to provide those figures for us. Now, I'm not going into the advanced filters because it's just going to narrow down a little bit too much for us. Okay, so here you go. And first things first, what I always want to double check is, does it actually fit the criteria that I originally put out to be? So I'm looking for products that are under £15, and let's have a look at this nail varnish. Yes, it's under £10. Is it making over £1,000 in revenue? Yes, they are making over £1,000 in revenue. Does it have 50 reviews or under? And yes, it does. It currently has 12 reviews or under. Okay, now as you can see, this has 200 plus results. Okay, so that means we can potentially narrow down this a little bit more. So if I had more time, I would probably change the review score to 4 or below to try and get it under 200. Again, that being said, 200 products to go through is a lot, so don't worry about it too much. So next thing up is, what I'm looking for now is ideas. Okay, I'm looking for ideas to look into further. So for example, if I like this sort of nail polish, I'm not just going to go into this product. I'm actually going to Amazon, type in nail polish and see how that niche in general, how these products actually do. Okay, I'm not just going to focus, okay, this nail polish is doing really well, so that is a nail polish I need to buy from Alibaba. I'm just looking for product ideas. So nail polish could potentially be one. However, in my personal opinion, it may potentially be branded. They may be very well-known brands for nail polish effectively, so therefore you may want to stay out of it. Now, there are a couple of things that you need to be aware of that potentially you want to stay away from. First things first, electrical items. These are some items that I personally wouldn't recommend for brand new beginners, because electrical items can easily go wrong. They can have bad reviews, they can have a higher return score and so on. You want to go for something nice, cheap and simple in the very beginning to reduce the amount of issues you may have. Once you have the education, once you have the experience, once you're making some sort of money from Amazon FBA, then of course go into electrical items, because that is where a lot of money is to be made as well. Next up, you want to stay away from anything too fragile. Okay, so For example, with these nail polish kits, which I'm sure would be fine, but you have to remember that these will be sent from China. And let's be honest, these workers are not going to be very gentle with your product. They will be throwing these boxes around. From my experience, some products may even fall out once in a while, and you have to be really careful, because if some of them starts to break, some of them starts to shatter, you will find a lot less products in your UK warehouse than what you actually ordered that are in good enough condition to be sold on Amazon FBA. So again, it's one of these things that you need to have in the back of your mind. For example, I would be very, very careful in buying sunglasses as your first product, because they can easily be damaged. I would be very careful buying mirrors, for example, because again, they can very easily be damaged. You need to have a good conversation with your supplier to make sure that they are packaged correctly and also labeled correctly, to make sure that you avoid as much wastage as possible. So next up, looking at wedding flower crown. That could potentially be a good product because it's a decent price. It's clearly not branded, because I don't know any well-known brands within wedding flower crowns, and it's relatively nice and simple, so potentially a niche to get into. And as you can see, as we keep going on, there are various product ideas for you to potentially look into, and all of them fit the criteria. Now, I would personally stay away from Halloween headband and stuff, because these sort of things are clearly very, very trendy, and given that we are now past Halloween, I don't think these products are going to do very well up until next year's Halloween. So you may want to double check Google Trends to see which products will do well in the next few months. And without even checking, I'm pretty sure girls' Halloween red, black, devil horns are not going to do so well over the next few months. So once we have found some ideas, okay, what's next? Well, next is what we need to do is use Helium 10's X-ray tool. Now I'm going to use this just yoga mats effectively as an example, just to show you what exactly I myself am looking for when it comes to this Chrome extension. Because what I want to do now is I got the product idea, whatever it may be, I want to see a couple of things. First things first, and one of the most important things I always look at is the total revenue, okay? How much money does this niche make in the first page? And what I mean here is, have a look at this. Total revenue, £394,000. This is how much money all of these products are making in the last 30 days. Anything above £100,000 is a good idea. Average price, maybe the product that you looked at was under £15, but most products may potentially be over £15. That is definitely something you need to be aware of. And last but not least, average reviews, okay? If it's over 1,000, then that means there are a lot of well-established products that have been selling for quite some time and have accumulated a lot of reviews. Now, this does not mean you can't get into that particular niche. However, that being said, you just have to come across a brand new product, something that hasn't been sold on that first page that people may potentially be interested in. Like I said before, there are always new products coming out all the time. If you can come across one that customers would be genuinely interested in, regardless of how big the average review number is, you can make money on that particular niche. And then once I watch over these main figures, I will look into each and every single product, basically sorting it out by revenue and trying to figure out which ones do the best and which ones do the worst and why. I want to know why this particular product, ProWorks Yoga Mat, is doing so well that it's selling over £41,000 each and every single month, or at least over the last 30 days. I want to know what that listing is. What are the pictures, which I'm not going to go into detail too much in this video, not to make it too long, but I want to know and figure out why exactly are people buying from this listing as opposed to some of the others, which are making a lot less. I want to try and learn as much of this niche as possible effectively, okay? And once I figured out if I can potentially make money on this niche, once I figured out what exactly to look out for, you also have to keep something else in mind. You have to think about the fact that these numbers are what is happened over the last 30 days. And yoga mat is a very good example, because people are not really interested in yoga in the month of November. They are interested in yoga in January, February, and March, given that they want to get fit, they want to get in shape. Therefore, I believe these revenue figures are going to be much higher in beginning of next year. You can actually mark this video if you're watching this in 2022. Just check what the total revenue is for yoga mats in 2022, January, February, March, and I'm almost certain that this is going to be higher. So always have these figures take them with a pinch of salt because they are looking at what has happened in the last 30 days. You have to use your common sense and think about what's going to happen in the next 30 days, in the next couple of months, and therefore make the decision whether or not you should go for that niche further. And with that being said, guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you found it useful. If you did, then please don't forget to check the links down below for my own personal mentorship, where I will go into far more detail about this, what to do next, how to speak to your suppliers, how to negotiate with your suppliers, and how to start your Amazon FBA business. If you did like the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.